But there are a few things the striped bass will do no matter what. Over the last 5 years, I've seen a dramatic change in the striped bass fishery. It's almost as if it's completely different from season to season. A great example of this is, a few years ago, I had a spot I could go to every single day at the same tide, in the same place, didn't really matter the conditions, and I could almost guarantee a shot at a big fish. Next season, I go back to that same place and I fish the best conditions possible, and I don't get one bass over 40 inches out of that spot, not one. When the year before, I had a dozen or so really nice quality bass like that out of the spot. Because of inconsistencies like that one, it can often feel like the striped bass are completely random where and when they're feeding. It is difficult to be consistent when you're surf casting, but there are a few things the striped bass will do no matter what. And I refer to these as hard patterns. A great example of a hard pattern is the striped bass migration. So throughout the striped bass migration, we're gonna have localized abundance for a few weeks in the spring. Then we're gonna have localized abundance again for a few weeks in the fall. Throughout the season, the striped bass will be spread out basically from Virginia all the way to Maine. So during the spring run, hence the name spring run, the time of year is spring. So the striped bass are gonna be trying to find the warmest water possible to stage up. There's also two main bait fish spawns happening at this time. The first one is sand eels, and the second one is herring. And those are the two that I focus on. And just those two alone are things that will happen every single season, no matter what. And Robbie told me, by the way, that I had to say that he out-caught me this day if I use this, so. Yeah. During the spring, I spend most of the time in the rivers and estuaries on Cape Ann. And that's also where the bait fish are spawning. So now if you think about that, we got the bait fish themselves spawning as hard patterns. You have the time of year, which is spring, and those bass are trying to seek out that nice warm water in the estuary to stage up and feed. So they're gonna be going into the estuaries, and that's where I'm gonna be spending most of my time, because now I know I have those patterns that no matter what, there's gonna be big fish, or not big fish in general, but there's gonna be fish in general in there staging up, as well as some big fish.